Welcome to Tiny Rails, the fun little game with a train. And my train now looks very different from what it looked like in the last episode, as the front 13, 14, 15 cars, I can't remember exactly how many, possibly even 16, are all different from what they were in the last episode, because in the last episode I got 60 rolls at the gumball machine and I have a ton of new cars to play with. And of course, as I start this episode, apparently it's the middle of the night, so they really don't show up in particularly great colour. In addition, I am on my way to Miami to start Chapter 2 of the Latin America quests, where I'm going to meet Diana, who was a character from the Canadian or the Transatlantic Tunnel part of the quests early in the game, and has recently turned up again for the Latin America quests. But I now have, and I'll come back to these when it's daylight so you can see them in colour, the Bongo Congo car at the front, followed by the Eldorado car, then the Lion's Pride car, the Hot Doggy car, the Sushi car, the Ticket booth, the Muffin car, the Bastille Day car, and I like the Bastille Day car because of this. When I collect the money, it sets off nice little fireworks that go round and round. Looks better when it's in colour, I know, and I'll come back to that again. Followed by the Year of the Dragon car, the Polly car, the Subquatica car, the Safari car, the Sandcastle, the Ostrich Farm car, and then the Wild West Keg car. They are all the new cars that are on my train. As I say, I'll show them again once daylight arrives, so you can see them in their full glorious colour. But I don't remember if I've got 7 or 8 cars now that generate a little bit of money. My new wonderful configuration has cut down the amount of passengers I can carry. But I'll show this before I get into Miami. Now get 134 maximum, and my bonus is 52%. That will go up as these cars upgrade. Okay, I've arrived in Miami. Diana! Hello team, how did you make out with Christine? Grandpa, Christine seemed very happy with how things went. It was good of you to arrange that for us, Diana. Diana, I'm very glad to hear it. Lance let you know I had more work for you, I take it? Valerie, he sure did. What have you got for us? Diana, I've got more investment meetings. You were such a huge help last time. This time I'm headed to the Caribbean though. Valerie, more sun and beaches? You're really giving me the hard sell, Diana. Haha, I thought you'd be up for it, Valerie. There are some prototype tunnels joining the islands. They're very similar to the Transatlantic Tunnel to Europe. We funded those as well, and it's a good chance to check on our investment. Grandpa, we'll be happy to help again, Diana, and we appreciate you thinking of us. Diana, you haven't let me down yet, team. Ready to go? We'll be starting in the Bahamas. Oh, woe is me, I'm being dragged to the Bahamas. Oh, it's going to be there, but I've actually got to accept the quest complete thing for this one. Now make a stop at the Bahamas before it'll put the mark on the map. Right. So off we go to the Bahamas. Oh, woe is me being dragged to the Bahamas. Oh, it's hard work. Mind you, I was having that conversation with someone at work today. They were complaining because we have to do 1 week in 4 in the office during this whole COVID-19 pandemic, because our CEO really doesn't like people not being in the office, so he's slowly getting us back into the office. And my colleague hates being dragged to the office for any reason, and my reaction is tend to be, oh, woe is me. The people that are paying me to turn up to an office actually expect me to turn up to the office. Oh, it's a hard life I lead. You know, it's really terrible when the people that expect you to do a job actually expect you to turn up to do it. Ah, here we are in the Bahamas. Diana, you've never been to the Bahamas before, have you? Yes, because I built the station here and visited a lot, but you know, you hold on to your dreams, Diana. Grandpa, we haven't, professionally or otherwise. Oh, you liar, Grandpa. It's impressive. The weather is tropical here, basically year-round, isn't it? Yes, until a hurricane comes through. Normally, but it snowed here back in 1977. Can you imagine? Strange enough, yes I can, because it was somewhere in the 1970s, in England, in the middle of June, that it snowed and a cricket match had to be called off. So, yeah. The islands are made of raised coral and sandbars. The highest point in the entire island is only 207 feet tall. Grandpa, very different than Mexico, certainly. And business here beyond your investment meeting? Oh, sorry, any business here beyond your investment meeting, Diana? Diana, in fact, I'd really like to pick up souvenirs on this trip. There's some really beautiful shell jewellery here that I bought. When we're ready to move on, we'll leave for Havana, Cuba. Okay. Let me collect the... I've got to admit, I can't imagine the Latin America Chapter 2 is going to last too long. Because that's the size of the Caribbean. So it shouldn't be that many stops in the Caribbean that I can imagine. I guess I'll find out. I almost reached daylight, so I can almost go through my train again, see it in all its glorious colour. That's it. I haven't sorted out all the duplicate cars I've got yet. I just picked the number of new cars that I wanted on my train between the last episode and this episode. But I've still got a lot of sorting out to do of all the cars that I've got. Okay, I'm back in Miami, aren't I? Right, off we go. On to good old Havana. Via an underwater sea tunnel. Oh yes, of course, because I've now got level 1 cars back on my train, I'm going to spend more time cleaning and maintaining them because they complain as they're not as durable as level 3 cars. So once we come out into dry land and get through the next part of the story, daylight will have dawned. Go through the train in glorious colour. Okay, come out into daylight. So here's the next bit of the story. Grandpa, there's some really magnificent architecture here. Wow! It's quite a city. Was your meeting here challenging? Diana, the political climate between Cuba and the USA is beginning to improve. Canadian tourists have been coming here for years, though. We've just arranged a deal to invest in a major new hotel here. Should really be something to see. I'm excited. Grandpa, have you found a souvenir yet? I bought a few cigars. Oh, that's one of the stories of the Kennedy administration. I think it was the Kennedys. They put the embargo on Cuba after they lost the Bay of Pigs. And literally in a day or two before the embargo took place, Kennedy sent someone down to Cuba to buy hundreds of Cuban cigars, so he had a supply no matter how many years the embargo lasted, because he was a self-centered little toad. Valerie, what? Smoking is terrible for you, old-timer. Oh, I don't smoke them, I just love the way the tobacco smells. My grandmother was the same. She loved people smoking around her because she loved the smell of tobacco. Diana, I picked up some really incredible coffee, less dangerous to my health. Oh, you might think so, but... And I managed to sneak in a salsa dancing lesson last night. I'm pretty light on my feet, you know. Oh, there's so many things, so many comments I can make about this story at this point. Valerie, you'll have to show me your new moves later. What's our next stop? Diana will be headed to Santiago. See you. Cuba? So let me click the quest. Money. Santiago de Cuba. Cuba. So I imagine it's a stop or two away. Oh, 3 even. Good, that gives me time. So here's the Bongo Congo car, which is going to take 5,000 experience before it levels up. El Dorado car, which is another one that's going to take 5,000 experience, but it's a nice food car. The Lion's Pride car, plus 10 entertainment when equipped in Africa, which I'm not in. The Hot Doggy car. I just think that's a really nicely done bit. Another 5,000 experience to upgrade this one, that one. And the Sushi car, which is a whole 500 experience to upgrade that one. Where am I going? Oh yes, not stopping here. Off we go. Then we have the ticket office in green, or ticket booth in green. Also 500 experience to upgrade. So that one should upgrade pretty fast. Same with the muffin car. I say the muffin car, I have 2 of them, which I got in the last episode. Also 500 experience. I do like this one. Bastille Day car, but it currently has no money in it because it's only open between 9 PM and 1 AM. So 4 hours. But it's going to take a 5,000 experience to upgrade. Then there's the Year of the Dragon car, which is very colourful. As is the Polly car, which is behind it. 2 very colourful cars. I'm wondering if this Subquatica car is actually going to do something with the submarine when it upgrades, even though it's going to take 5,000 experience for me to find out, or if it's going to do with, as a lot of the watery type entertainment cars do, and just change the outline. The Safari car, another one that takes 5,000 experience. There's going to be a lot of experience needed for some of these cars, as is the Sandcastle car. However, I imagine that's going to change shape into something pretty. We come into Santiago de Cuba, Cuba. Santiago de Cuba feels a bit more European than Havana. It's a real cultural hotspot. Grandpa, how did your meeting go here, Diana? Diana, very well. I'm excited at the prospect of investing here. It's very vibrant and exciting. I also bought some really fantastic cocoa butter. It came in a beautifully handmade wooden box. Valerie, I may have to steal a bit of that or get some myself. Do we have any more business in Cuba? Diana, actually we're on our way on to the next... Actually, we're on to the next island. That should be on our way to the next island. Haiti is our next stop. Port-au-Prince, specifically. Okay. Let me collect my reward. I do like the fact they added this button so I can just click it here rather than have to go to the map to set my destination. That really is nice. And going back to the cars, after the Sandcastle car is the Ostrich Farm car. I've had Kiwi Farm cars, Camel cars, and some others, and now we've got an Ostrich car. I think it's quite clever the way they've done that, and I like the way the heads move as well. Now, of course, I can't see them. And the final new car. Excuse me, it's late and it's been a long day. The Wild West Keg car, which is a cargo car, as is the Ostrich car, I believe. And I don't need cargo cars per se, but it's new and different, and therefore it's going to be on my train till it upgrades. So I wonder if this is going to fill with kegs, or if it's going to move the keg from one place to another when it upgrades. I guess I'll find out in the fullness of time. Not this place. The story continues at the next stop. And then, of course, I have my 2 outhouses. And my Mount Vesuvius car, just because I like it. And almost 23,000 sat in the caboose. But there's lots of colourful cars on this train. And lots of money-making cars, for that matter. Well, I've arrived. Grandpa, there's a lot of history in Port-au-Prince. Diana, yes, it's still a city that's reimagining itself in a modern way. Tourism is becoming a much bigger focus of its economy. Now, let's not mention Papa Doc. Or Baby Doc. Valerie, sounds like a good opportunity for your group, Diana. You can invest in a growing industry. Diana, very much so, Valerie. I like our chances here. Stop by the Mission Baptiste gift shop before we leave, too. They sell handmade crafts that are great souvenirs. The funds help support economically vulnerable communities. Grandpa, that's great to hear. It's a good chance to support Haiti. Grandpa, next stop, Diana. Diana, the Dominican Republic is next. Let's set out for Santo Domingo. Certainly. Collect the reward. Make a stop at Santo Domingo. Which is the next stop down the line. Ah, there go the fireworks again. I do like that. Oh, it happens even if you've not got no money in there. You could just click on it to set off the fireworks. Well, I can keep doing that for a while. Yes, I'm very easily amused. Kind of like a little kitten with a ball of string. Keep myself amused for hours with silly little things. Yes, I know. I'm immature for an adult. Tough. I know it, so I can live with it. Grandpa, what can you tell us about Santo Domingo, Diana? You seem to know all sorts of useful trivia. Can there be useful trivia? If it's useful, how can it be trivia? Diana, Santo Domingo is a really interesting city. It feels like an old European city, but it's also very modern. There are lots of clubs and a really exciting nightlife here. It's also the largest city in the entire Caribbean. Valerie, an excellent spot for your group to invest then. Diana, it certainly is. We've got a great hotel site picked out here. The Dominican Republic is famous for amber. It's also a perfect souvenir. Just look at this beautiful jewellery I found. Oh, I don't know the words I found. That tends to make it sound like you acquired it through non-legal channels. Valerie, how lovely. Sounds like a productive stop. I heard that Punta Cana is coming up next. Or is up next. Grandpa, it is? I'd better get my golf clubs ready then. Okay, so we just go to Santiago de los Calaveras. Oh, I better give my train a bit of clean and a maintenance before it starts complaining at me. Oh, not an obstacle in the way. I should probably collect on all the jobs I've completed, because I've probably completed a few of them by now. And get myself some new ones, because I've got to replenish the 13.5 million that I spent in the last episode. Somehow. Well, I don't have to, because I'm going to spend another 13.5 million soon. But then I'm going to need to replenish the money, because if I want to keep spending millions upon millions, I have to kind of earn it somehow. Oh, take that job. Serve 50 passengers in the Caribbean, because I'm in the Caribbean and I'm serving passengers by default, so it should be a relatively easy job to complete. And wherever we're going next. Ah yes, the next stop in the quest. No, you don't earn money. Just checking if there's any more money earning cars I've managed to throw on my train without really noticing. Looks not. So the Bastille car is the last one that actually earns money, but it earns it very, very slowly because it's only open 4 hours a day. Diana, Punta Cana is a much more traditional tourist destination. Did you know that Punta Cana is under 50 years old? No, I didn't actually know that. Grandpa, it's hard to believe a place so well known is so young. So well known, I had got to admit, wasn't a place I knew of. I've heard there are 10 beaches here. Is that true? There sure are, some of the world's best. Yeah, that's kind of hard to quantify. I've been to Australia, Cyprus, various places in the Mediterranean. Now it's quantifying what is the best beach is kind of hard to do. Diana, it's a pretty obvious stop for my group to want to be. And the company we've met with here is eager to have us here. Valerie, I had a great time bartering with vendors while you've been gone. There are some great local crafts here, take your pick. Diana, thanks Valerie, I appreciate you thinking of me. We're headed for Puerto Rico whenever you're ready. Oh, let me collect the reward and set the marker. Where's that going? I'm going to Ponce, the next place down, next stop on the track. Yeah, I'm not sure if I get to San Juan, I'm going to have to turn around and do some more stops for the Caribbean, or that will be the end of this chapter. I guess I'll find out shortly. Here we are at good old Ponce, Puerto Rico. Grandpa, I forgot that Puerto Rico is a US territory. They haven't. American dollars are the currency here, right? Diana, they are, and I hope you brought your appetite. You can get an incredible meal for very little money here. You can't beat that in 270 miles of beaches. Valerie, where's your next meeting, Diana? Diana, nothing scheduled here in Ponce, just a breather. I do need to stop in San Juan, though. Grandpa, let's be on our way then. And while I'm here, I'm just going to sell the stuff that's currently in cargo that's on my train that I don't need. Then we'll head to San Juan. I'll head that way anyway, and I'll collect the reward. Oh, I didn't think of that. Total quest progress for all the quests for the whole game is 75%, and the Latin America story progress is 60%. It's time for an island vacation as the team helps Diana make her way through the Caribbean islands. The team enjoys fun in the sun as new opportunities emerge. Good to know. Oh, I'll even collect that one. Oh, I've got to make a stop at Kingston, Jamaica next. Okay. Diana, San Juan is the oldest city in US territory. Columbus landed here in 1493 during a second expedition. Grandpa, I'm looking forward to visiting old San Juan while we're here. The government has gone to great lengths to preserve the architecture. Diana, a history buff like yourself will be right at home here. And I've had another very successful meeting. We've got one last island to visit. We'll leave for Jamaica as soon as we wrap up. Okay. Kingston, Jamaica, here we come. Looks like I'm going to get the whole of Chapter 2 in this episode, even though that may have gone on longer than was my intent. Oh, almost hit the wrong buttons. Kingston, Jamaica's a few stops down the line, but we'll get there. Because having gone through this much of the Caribbean, I might as well get to the end of it. Rather than come back just to visit Kingston before I then go on to wherever they're going to send me next. Burst of speed. As I travel through the night, straight in and out of Punta Cana. And this is why I say it's going to take me a long time to upgrade all these cars that are on my train. Through the duration of this episode, I've got less than 150 experience points for the Bongo Congo car out of the 5,000 I need. Same with all these cars, so things like the sushi car will be upgraded to level 2 pretty fast, and level 3 won't be too far away. Same with the ticket booth and a couple of others, like the muffin car. But the Bastille Day car is going to take me days to upgrade, not hours. And even if you leave the game, well, even though you know your train can happily travel around the world when the game is not running, it doesn't get any experience for cars when you do that. So if the game is not actually running, then cars do not gain experience, which is not always the greatest thing in the world when you've got a lot of experience to gain. I've forgotten how much it is to go from stage level 2 to level 3. Is it? I can't remember if it's 25,000 or 15,000. But literally, it's going to take me days to upgrade any car that currently needs 5,000 points, like the Bastille car, to get to level 2. To get that car to level 3 is going to take me X number of days. Whereas the Year of the Dragon car is going to take me not too long. Or any car that's like that one, with requires 500 points. And there's an intermediate experience that in between those two extremes on some cars, none of which are currently on my train. At least I don't think they are. Next stop, Kingston, Jamaica. There's the engine. Let's give it a speed boost. 337 miles an hour is my top speed these days. Or at least in the underwater tunnel it is. Finally into good old Kingston, Jamaica. No, she went of her own accord. Diana, welcome to Kingston, birthplace of the delicious Jamaican patty. Have you had one? They're incredibly tasty. Grandpa, I love them. The spicier the better. Some authentic jerk chicken would be great too. Valerie, I plan to visit the Bob Marley Museum while we're here. Diana, more hotel properties in the works here. This trip has definitely been worthwhile. I've got a good souvenir for you, Valerie. Oh, what's that? Jamaican root tonic. It's supposed to improve your health, strength and vitality. It's made from medicinal plants, herbs, roots and tree bark. Okay, so it's either snake oil or something that should be illegal. Valerie, sounds delicious. Diana, don't knock it till you've tried it. One last stop, Montego Bay. Let's grab some jerk chicken and make our way there. Oh, I thought this was the last stop. She lied to me. Okay, well it's got to be just down the road. Or just down the track, because it's still in Jamaica. That's a whole 82 miles away. Have a burst of speed so we can get there. Otherwise this episode could go on forever. And of course they throw an obstacle in my way just to delay me getting there. Burst of speed, please, engine. Not burst of peed, please, speed, engine. Oh, please, engine. which is what I tried to say the first time round. Grandpa! Well, I just read an interesting fact. Jamaica was the first Western nation to develop a railroad. Really? Define Western. Maybe some of the lines we're on are those old rails. Diana, I didn't even know that. Good find. Didn't know there's a haunted house here in Montego Bay? The Rose Hall Great House is supposed to have a ghost in it. Valerie, sounds spooky. I think I'll pass, personally. I think I'll spend a little bit of time at Doctor's Cave instead. Diana, we're actually working with a resort at the beach there. And that's the last meeting. Trip complete. Can you get me back to Tallahassee, Florida? Grandpa, happy to, Diana. We'll head right there. Well, we may or we may not. We will just depart. I will collect the reward. And that is where I'm going to end this episode before it goes on forever. But that was the tour around the Caribbean with Diana. And once I've dropped off at Tallahassee, I should be on to Chapter 3 of the Latin America quests, which will be in a day or two, I imagine. So on that happy note, I will say cheerio, and I hope you enjoyed, and hopefully I'll see you down the track for more Tiny Rails in the near future.